Up and we're live. Good morning, Mr. Reeves.
Good morning. It's a beautiful day outside. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. It is a beautiful day outside. The next couple of days are predicted to be very beautiful and very great weather, so I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, me too. What's our topic today?
our topic today for Demic Dies Excuses is the excuse is I'm busy. I'm too
Mm,
busy. I don't have time. I don't
yeah,
have this. I'm too busy for that. And well, first, let's introduce ourselves,
yeah,
Kevin.
yeah. I'm Kevin Reeves. I'm a leadership coach, and get to spend my Friday mornings with Jimmy, talking about all the excuses that we throw out. And we lump ourselves into this because Jimmy and I have both been in these places of these same excuses. So we're talking from experience here. Jimmy, and go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yes, my name is Jimmy Allen, and I'm a love and relationship coach. And yeah, that's about me. And it's funny when we talk about I am busy because even the nature of this particular day with this particular episode, how we just figured out how to make this today happen without, using the word I am busy or I don't have time. And we made it happen. Like we didn't use excuses. We just made it happen.
Yeah,
We
right,
just come together, threw some solutions together. Okay, I'm cool with that. Yeah, let's do that. And here we are. We're doing it with
right,
ease.
absolutely.
And so, one of the reasons why I brought this up today, because it was, I recently had dinner with someone and I was just so confused about this person who is a high achieving person, was saying how busy they were with other things other than the thing they love to do. And I was just like, was like just confused because I think I've been in that position before and I stopped using that excuse. I think I'm not sure if I mentioned that before, but when I got my certification, I was in a 6 month program. Then I was in another program, all at the same time. Then I had to coach 8 people for free on the side during those 6 months, and I worked 2 jobs. I couldn't even use the word don't have the time. I had to like make it happen. Make it
Right,
happen.
right. Well, and I think there's definitely those seasons because I think back through like some of my busier times. I think there's definitely the seasons where like you really are busy. I mean, like when
Yeah,
you what
you
you
are.
just that's very busy. Um, and there's those times where I'm just like trying to function, like trying to like eat food and sleep and do the thing I have to do, and maybe it's a couple days stretch or a couple weeks stretch. But there's a conscious decision in there too to not have life be like that forever. you
Right,
know and I think that's the thing that I'm like, this is fine for this moment, but then I need to get some balance because it's not
right,
healthy or it's not helpful or it is prohibiting me from doing things. But that excuse, I'm busy, I'm too busy, it doesn't fly that long because it is a temporary thing. It's like, yeah, you're too busy for like this week. You're too busy for today. But moving forward, like if you want to do that, do it. So it
right,
takes that excuse right off the table because you realize, like, hey, if I want to do this, if this is something that's important to me, I'm gonna have to make time for it.
right,
I want to make time for it.
right. And oftentimes, I remember my coach would say to me, she was like, "It's really to back people off because you being in that moment. Sometimes we say it so we don't share ourselves. We don't want to do the thing that we want to do with the other people, and we're being inauthentic. We're basically lying to the other person and to ourselves." And they were really, really big on us, like just say no. Just be authentic. Like, why spend so much time being inauthentic, which is
Mm,
not really what you were out to do in this program? Like, you're being a representation of to your clients, like teaching your clients to be authentic, learning how to communicate, properly, use your words. But we sometimes use that excuse, I'm too busy or I am busy, just to back people off without being authentic and telling the truth.
Yeah, and being authentic is terrifying. I mean, it can be so scary to really be authentic. And just even like you think about like your family relationships, and you think about like each member of your family, and you have things that you tell certain family members, and you have things you don't tell other family members. And it's this constant like balance and juggling act of maintaining this like perimeter around who you are, so that that relationship is the way that you want it to be. And you think about like, what would it look like? What would it feel like if you're just like, here I am.
Mm,
It's really, really just kind of interesting to see that, and to think about that, because it would take a lot of pressure off. It would be scary, but it would take a lot of pressure off.
right.
It's that trade off. And really it comes back to, again, like, we've talked about this before, of like, who do you really want to be? Like, what do
Right.
you want to be remembered for? What do you want? Like, what do you want your life to look like? We have so much choice in what our life looks like.
Right.
And yet, there's so many times we tell ourselves that excuse that, yeah, I just have to do this, or I'm obligated to, or I could never tell my mom this, or I could never, be honest with my stepdaughter, or whatever the thing is. You're just constantly in this place of maintaining this facade. And yeah, so just really think about like, what would it be like, and would you want to take down those walls and be authentic? And when you do, you find that I'm too busy doesn't hold a lot of water.
Right. I'm glad you brought it up. Like, you know, sometimes it is scary as hell. Like, because I've been that person, and sometimes I do slip a little times, like saying I'm too busy. But I remember, I think I got this. Oprah would say, like, tell the truth, and you see what happens. Like, say no. And I remember I used to tell this one friend of mine that I'm too busy. I said, you know what? I'm going to actually say no. No, I'm not going to do that. And the reaction that I got was like he flipped out on me. And I was like, whoa. Now I
Yeah,
see the real deal. And sometimes when you are authentic and you don't want to deal with people, you see the real person, the real truth. So I would rather see the real truth and be truthful so I can see what I'm actually dealing with. And when you're being authentic, it is scary and uncomfortable. And this phrase, what it's used to use as in training, but it's alive. It's uncomfortable, but it's alive and it's invigorating. And for me, the more you do it, the more authentic you are with the truth, and stop using that as an excuse. For me, I feel more confident and more grounded,
totally.
more direct, and feel like more of a leader when I'm that strict and that honest and that authentic.
Yeah. Well, it's really funny that you bring up that confidence piece too, because again, like that's such a thing that it really does create that, because you're being true to yourself, you're being true to this person. You're like, here's who I am, and this is what I have to say. And it can border on selfish, because you can be just like, well, this is all about me, and this is what I have to do. This is for my needs, and blah blah blah. And so it's the ability to find like the compassion and the humility and the ability to serve people while being authentic and true to yourself. And I
Mhm.
think that's like the real like mark of you're doing this well, and success in that area is being able to like be honest with people and tell them the truth, and not just saying it because, well, this is what my needs are. Because the reason we do a lot of this facade stuff is to protect people's feelings. We don't
Mhm.
want them to be angry. We don't want them to be hurt. We don't want them to be feel less valued. And so we put up this stuff because we're trying to protect them. And I think like when you have like mastered that art, it's when you can like be honest and still hold true, because they are going to get hurt, but doing it in a loving way and doing it in a way that you're still getting to be truthful. And that's like the real like, wow, you're good at this. And that's where you like get that like deeper confidence, not just like, like guns blazing, I'm going to go out, like this is my last time talking to my family member, and I'm going to share it all. So take that. It's a different vibe. And that I don't think creates that confidence as much as the former that we were talking about.
Right. And sometimes too, like that word, that phrase, I'm too busy, can really hinder relationships too, romantically. And, in order for a relationship to grow and sustain, it's like a garden. Like you have to nurture it. You have to give to it. You have to be delicate with it. You have to give time to relationships and people. We'll use our job. We'll use our job like too much time at work. We'll use our kids and not, creating the time for the couple to be together. Like spending time, quality time is so important to nurture relationships. And I've seen so many people use I'm busy with their job or as an excuse. And one thing that I love is a movie called What Are We Invade Next? And in Italy, they don't use time as an excuse. They're like, no, you need to make time for your family. This is 2 hours for you to go home and be with your family. We don't work crazy hours. Spend time with your family. If your family isn't good, then you're going to bring that into the workplace, and we don't want that. Spend
Right.
time with your family, and family is so important. So they strategically create time in their schedule and in the workplace to be with family, to be with kids, because it's important to nurture and spend time. They don't use that I'm busy. They know
Yeah.
that's an excuse. It's built into their culture and system.
Right. Well, we use, in America, we use time and being too busy or being busy as like a badge of honor. It really is this, wow, you're so successful because you're so busy. And being busy and being successful are not equal. You can be super busy and not be successful. And success, even that word, like, maybe it's, you make a lot of money or maybe you don't. But maybe like all those things are just kind of subjective. And so figuring out like why are we saying that we're busy? Why are we saying, is it to like keep up the appearance that we have such a valuable life? Like if I wasn't this busy, then everything would fall apart. My work would be in trouble. My marriage would be in trouble because I'm keeping it together because I'm so busy. I'm doing all this work, making sure that everyone's happy and everything's going good. And I have to work out and I have to do this and that and all this stuff. And so look at me, I'm so amazing. And that's exhausting. And it's really hard to maintain it. And I find so many, it really like just overlaps so much into the shoulds of, oh, I should do all these things. And honestly, like I was writing out these big to-do lists. I'm a big list guy and I love crossing stuff off. And I realized though that every day I'm just like carrying my list over to the next day and not getting it done, not feeling accomplished, feeling frustrated. I can never have enough time. I never get it all done. And I just started doing this not too long ago. Post-it notes. You can't put that much stuff on them. You can put a few things. And when I knock that out, I feel great. I feel amazing. And I can decide if I want to add more to or do another one. And so it's just really like setting those priorities. And rather than having 10,000 things I want to get done, pick 4 that are really significant. And when I get those 4 done, man, I feel great. I made some progress. This is awesome. And it takes that whole thing of like, man, I just don't have enough time. I just don't have enough time. And, for me, when I feel that way, when I actually feel like I don't have enough time to get all the stuff done I want to get done, I get this panic. And when I'm operating from panic, that doesn't help anything, either. It doesn't make me more successful. It doesn't make me more fulfilled. It doesn't make me just feel like, man, what a great day. It just makes me feel like I'm never going to get it all done. This sucks. And yeah, so it's just it's something to be really aware of because we all do it.
Yeah, and as we like start to wrap up again to the solutions, what came to mind is like, if you ever read E-Myth, it's this like guide for entrepreneurs. And so in E-Myth, he talks about he's taking this woman who's a baker, and she would say how she was too busy to do all these other things to grow her business. She can't grow her business because she was too busy. And he looked at her structure and he was like, well, you're busy doing things that you should not be doing. You need to be delegating these things. He was like, as an entrepreneur, you are the brains, the creator, and you need to make time to not do things so you can be free to think so you can grow your business. He was like, entrepreneur, you need to have a time, a window of free time so you can create. Because otherwise, when you're too busy, and especially that's for me, when I'm too busy, I can't create. I can't grow. I can't see the next step. I can't even be in the moment of what I'm doing because I'm so exhausted of doing all these other things.
Yeah.
And so he was really diligent, adamant about her hiring someone to step in and do all these little things that she should not be doing. And even like in relationship, like look at the time. Even I had a friend of mine said to me, he was like, as we were like collaborating, and he looked at me, he was like, well, you're tired. He said, you need to look at the time that you're spending and who you're spending your time with. Is it moving you forward or is it keeping you in the same place? I don't know why that like like woke me up. And I was like, oh, and I look busy, but I don't know. I wasn't really aware if this moment or this thing was actually moving me forward. And I was like, and it really woke me up to really start to evaluate where am I spending my time? Because I needed that time to relax and create and to be and spend time with people who I love, like in those relationships. Because
Right.
and before I used to use, I'm too busy to not nurture my relationship. And my relationships are important to me. So I had to like really delegate and be aware of where am I spending my time and who am I
Yeah.
spending my time with? Because if these relationships are important to me, then I need to create space for them.
Right. Well, it's interesting too, because it's another tactic that has been helpful for me in kind of like looking at my time and how to use my time has been just the idea of budgeting. I actually do some financial coaching, and with that, I help clients like map out a budget. You have a finite amount of money. This is the amount of money you have to work with, and so you get to decide where it goes. We can put it in all these different places, and then once those places are full, then that's all the money. Then that's all we have, and it's the same thing with time. We have a finite amount of time, and this is what you get to do with it. And so, how would you like to spend that time today? We can spend some on leisure. We can spend some on family. We can spend some on reading, working out. All these different things that we want to incorporate in our day. And so, really, just like kind of laying it all out and mapping out your day. And budgeting for, hey, I've got this much time and this is how I want to use it. These are my priorities. And a lot of times we let, it's the same thing with money too. Like we let these decisions happen to us. Well, this is coming up, and really, like if we just had like a little bit of foresight and started looking out at what's coming, we could actually plan for this. Like I know that every year there's a back to school and I got to buy my kids extra clothes. So around August, I got to really like have some clothes money set aside. Same thing with time. I know that every time my family comes to town, they want to do this, and this, and it always takes so long. And I always get angry at them, and I do it anyway, but I'm frustrated and I feel like I don't have the time for it. But they like it and it's important to you. So when they come visit, plan that time. It's looking at what's going to happen and then budgeting accordingly.
Yeah. So what's the next step for these people?
Figure out what's really going on. I mean, that's the big one is always like we have these excuses and there's always something behind it. There's something deeper than what we're saying. And we use these excuses. And so really just kind of taking that time and then asking yourself, what's really behind this excuse of I don't have time or
Right.
I'm too busy? Is it what we talked about of like it being the appearance of I'm so busy, that's how successful I am? Is it because this really isn't a priority to you? And maybe this thing that you're saying like, oh, I don't have time for this, but I feel bad. Well, maybe you hate this thing. Don't do it. You don't have to do it. So many times we say that. And so really look at like what's important to you. It comes back to that so often is what's important. What are your priorities? And is what, like what Jimmy said, is this making you, moving you forward, or is this holding you back? Right. And so figuring out how do you want to spend your time and then do it.
And if you're really bad, like hire a coach. That's what we're doing.
Yeah. Right.
Because you hire professionals to come in and disrupt that and get you on the right path. Bottom line, hire someone. Anyway,
Right.
it's great talking to you, Kevin.
Yeah, you too. Always
And
good.
yeah, it was always good. This was really good. I enjoyed it. So until next time, leave a comment in the comment box below and reach out to one of us in our DM box. All right.
Awesome.
Happy Friday.